Okay, I mentioned that this week I'll be doing some assignment help, and judging by some of the emails I've got, I know some of the people are only just thinking of starting it now. You're a bit late if that's the case, but not too late to get in the way. But ideally you should have made a good start by now, because I know that it's due in at the end of the first week back. But you've got a change of tutor in that week. Magic Yoda's going to start taking, and he'll be doing his own labs in that week. So the first week back won't be an assignment help lab. I'm doing that this week, and I'll also devote the labs next week to assignment help. You know that I can't always get round everybody in a lab, particularly when it's busy. To it, we've not been too busy in the as far as programming labs, unlike the mobile app development one, where they've been very busy. So what I'm trying to do is collate together common questions where people have a problem, and I think more than one person will have a problem with that, and I'll email it out. So I know you do get a lot of emails from that forum, but they're not sent out just because I'm bored. They're normally sent out because I feel they'll be helpful to you, and they're things where other people have got stuck. So at least have a look at them before you send me a request saying, help, I'm stuck, or something, because it may well have already been addressed somewhere. Now for some people who've made a start, I know that some people have actually even almost finished the assignment. So, good luck to them. I think but it might be with some apologies to people who are well into it, because I'm going to take it off just explaining the basics behind it, about what you're supposed to be doing. Having said that, even those who are almost finished, I did look at one, not for this assignment, but for another one, who said, I'm hoping to get 100% of this assignment. You were going to get 40 odd at the most. So I just did what you might think in your mind, sort of thing. Just be careful that you're following the spec. So I want to sort of go over what the case is here. The idea is it's a web services assignment, and it's to show that you can do web services in a wide variety of ways to it. There's many ways in which the web service can be implemented. And now it doesn't particularly matter what the actual web service that we're offering is. The fact that it's just a fairly trivial film web service that we're offering here, that's really not really the point. It's how we're offering that web service that's the sort of key thing. So yes, we're offering a film class, but that's just so that we're all doing the same aspect, and I can give you some starter data to work with that. But it could have been sort of anyone. The idea that hopefully you will be implementing is this model view controller approach that I've just sort of panned out on here, and I've taken a photo of it. It's going to be on videos. I'll put the photo up online too. But this is how you should structure your actual work in all the cases for it. It'll lead to less work in order to sort of do it. Don't try and do all your assignments in one single file that does everything. I'm expecting a range of projects to do the different things. So when it comes down into the detail here of the assignment, there are extra things to sort of use, that you're trying these different technologies. Now the reason for this MVC approach, and you'll see this in lots of the demos that you've got, for example, in and I'll bring it up in a moment, the Ajax data example is a good starting point, the project for that. The model view controller is where you have a model of somebody who knows where the data's stored. It knows all about how to access that data, where it is, and it will get that data for you. It will offer you an interface with things like get film, get all films, insert a film, delete a film, all the basic sort of operations. And that's all the outside world needs to know, what that interface is. They don't need to know anything about where the storage is. So the outside world doesn't need to know that you're using MySQL, doesn't need to know that you're using a cloud storage, doesn't need to know you're using, say, Oracle, stored in a file. or even that it's still stored on paper records and actually there's a little prompt goes up on somebody's screen saying just go and search this file drawer, will you, and quickly type the results in. That's irrelevant to the outside world, so long as when they request get film or get all films or something, they'll receive a film object or a collection of films, an array list, just a stand for a list, an array, whatever that sort of, however you're going to sort of put that together. The reason for that is, as I say, if you ever change this, if you ever change the format of what your data storage is, the outside world who are interacting with it won't need to know about that. They won't need to have any knowledge that you've changed the storage locations. You can move it over to Oracle, you can move it to a web storage one, move it to a file-based one, and not tell the outside world, as long as you keep this interaction the same. As long as get film returns your film object, or all films returns your films list, array list, whatever to it. So that's the point about sort of specifying this sort of minimum interface to using it. When I say collection, it can be, there is a collection type in Java. You could just have it as an array list. I don't mind, just as long as the interface is consistent to it. So this model, it's not a servlet. It's just a standard class that creates, that accesses those films or creates a film and puts one in. The other side to this controller, is the thing that's directing the operations in this model view controller, if you like, to it. It receives a request from the outside world. Somehow the outside world gets in touch with it and says, can you just get me all films? Or can you get me one film? Or here's a film to insert. Now it's got to know how to change the request from the outside world into something that the data accessor object can understand. The data accessor object understands get film or get all films, insert this film. And the data might arrive in any number of ways. I might have a little filing cabinet of the results back there. Somebody arrives at the door here and says, can you get me my results? I've got to translate that into somehow going finding those results in a filing cabinet. Now they might ask me in one way, they might say, I've got my results please. They may come and ask me in French. They may come and say, vous avez mis, I'm lost, I keep trying to speak French, it never works. They may come and ask me in French. They may come and ask me in Spanish, or something like that. Have you got my results please? Which is what? What is it in?
Tienes mis resultados.
There you go. You all understood that? Have you got my results to it? And I've got to work as a controller with many different ways of interacting with the outside world, and then go off and get those results in a standard way. Now that's what that controller's doing. It's interacting somehow with the outside world. A request will come in, and it's got to turn that into get film or get all films. Now this interaction could be, in the way that we're sort of used to it so far, a sort of standard HTTP request, that they open up the server, whatever that controller name is, as a servlet, and then you've got this question mark, name equals wars, format equals JSON, and you're used to putting these little markers in between your parameters, a question mark after the resource name, and then an ampersand between the name value pairs. You're used to doing that in HTTP, so you've like grown up in the server world with using that format. It's an agreed worldwide standard for interacting with an HTTP server, to give resource name, question mark, name value pairs separated by that sort of ampersand to it. But it's not the only way. That's like supposing that the only way of talking is English. There's other ways that are just as valid. Spanish is a perfectly valid way of speaking. If you're in Spain, South America, that sort of thing, it's a perfectly valid way of sort of doing it. Just, it depends on the situation that you're in. Now, HTTP might be one way. Other people might speak in this SOAP language. where you're given an XML envelope where you're indicating what the method is, what the parameters are, what the values are with it, what the response looks like, and you're going to receive the data like that. Rather than somebody coming to me and speaking, I might receive a text message with it in, completely different format. I might receive an email message, not even spoken, and I've got to sort of take that and go off and find the data and then send it back again to them. So I might receive that request in SOAP, I might receive it in REST. A REST format is where the URL, if you like, contains the parameters as well. So you'll have a controller for it, say this REST controller, but the actual data there, /JSON/wars, the actual parameters that you're passing are in the URL string. They're all as valid as each other. Some are faster than others. Some might be